guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, or later today in this case, I'm covering part 2 of the 2-year update of the video, which is titled, Wife Admits Effinism Nearly Ruined Her Marriage, and Her Husband Laying Down the Law Saved the Family. And where we left off, guys, you heard the whole story, his situation, how he grew up, the influence his father had, was going to be a big part of this update here, how he met his wife, her chasing after him, all that type of stuff, where it ended where things were about to go downhill with this woman that named Amber, that was her code name, sister-in-law, somehow connection to him and the family, was poisoning his wife's mind against him and all that, and where a whole lot of turmoil is going to start, and how our guy handles things like a freaking boss, and does save the family. And I might add, put her in her place, which certainly she deserved. So it continues on. He says, it was about this time that I noticed a massive drop in my wife's you-know-what drive. She went from wanting it daily to about weekly. I thought at first it was because Amber was there, so I didn't think too much about it. But even after Amber left, Liz became more hostile and argumentative. Nope, not cool. Hostile, argumentative, and you're not getting any anymore, and probably what you were getting wasn't too good? No. 15 years, everything was great. Everything leading up to the marriage was great. But now the BS is starting. That cannot be tolerated, because you've done nothing wrong. I just ignored her and would not engage with her. Very smart. Every time she wanted to start a fight, I leave. This always worked, but not this time. It was not. When I tried to have a rational conversation about the issue, I could not get any answers. What'd you just say there? Rational conversation. Ration and logic, emotion. Two different fucking languages. Well, this went on for about a month or two. Oh, God. A month or two too long. Nothing changed on her end, so I was thinking it might be time to cut her loose. Yep, right here, what he just said. This is why more and more every day I'm of the opinion that you can love your girl, but don't be in love with her. Because if you're in love with her, good luck laying down the law and doing what needs to be done, Lord Vader, when you're pushed too far. Now, I know some people would say I should have fired her. However, my thought on this is this. You have an all-star employee that has been around with you for 15 years, through the good times and the bad. You found them reliable and one of your best employees. It's hard to find people that, like now, that can care and really give you that 100%, because most people give you the bare minimum so they can get paid and not fired. But after 15 years, they are going to go through a rough patch. I usually do my best to see what I can do to help them get back on track so they can keep performing. I would prefer not to let them go. That was my mindset. Okay, you're using the business mindset to your wife here. Get to the bottom of what the fuck is going on, but you need to show her who's in charge, as well as get to the bottom of all her bullshit here. So that night, I was alone in the basement, and I called her to join me. I had my contract out of the severance package part, but I had that hidden under the chair. Remember the contract he had drawn up before they got married? He insisted upon this the whole thing. Okay, if we get divorced, this is what you'll get, this is what you will not get. He's showing her, look, I mean business. I told her we needed to talk, and she sat down, we started talking. I thought we could have a logical conversation, but it was anything but that. Back to the logical conversation. Again, good luck with that. Logic, emotion, good freaking luck. It's like me trying to speak with somebody who speaks Swahili. They ain't going to understand me? Well, I don't think they will. And I sure as hell ain't going to understand them. Anybody here that speaks Swahili, let me know. She accused me of trying to get with Amber and forcing her to be a stay-at-home mom. Are you freaking kidding me? The Amber chick was all over him. Yeah, the Amber chick was trying to sabotage their marriage. And what? Forcing her to be a stay-at-home mom? Miss, I want to have 8 kids or 6 kids or whatever the hell it was? Being a stay-at-home mom was her dream, which I granted her. I stayed silent and allowed her to put her foot in her mouth for next to 30 minutes. Dude, that is some amazing self-control to keep quiet, let her just for 30 fucking minutes. Longest 30 minutes of your life. Once she was done, I reminded her that she wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. That she got to work part-time, like 10 hours a week, on projects for me. That'd be people's dream come true. 10 hours a week? Okay. Be home at the house with the 4 kids I wanted and a wealthy lifestyle? No. Leave it to a feminist to try to fuck it all up. About Amber. I had explained to her that she kept bringing me food at work, and this can make people believe that I might have a mistress. Also, that she was very flirtatious with me. Liz didn't know what to say. Well, that's a first. This is when I handed her the contract that me and the lawyer drafted with her severance package information. Her mouth went from slightly open to the floor. I stood up to walk to the bedroom. I told her she had a week to figure out and change her behavior. She'll be sleeping in the guest room for the next week. Your dad, I don't know if your dad is alive or not, but if he's alive, he's smiling down from heaven, with his exception of like freaking body slamming your mom and everything when your mom tried to smack him, or did smack him. Your dad's smiling down from heaven, like, yep, ban her from the bedroom. She tried talking to me the next day, but I refused all contact with her until the next week. Good. This drove her insane. What I tell you about the power of walking away, and also the power of silence. They want to engage you. They want the drama. I've never seen her so scared and anxious. I mean, like hand tremors, sweating, and you could tell that she didn't get any sleep. It was like an employee who knew that they might get fired very soon. What I tell you about women and uncertainty. What I tell you guys about the power. All women got to know that if you push you too far, your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance, and no matter how long you've been together, they push you too far, you're done. You're out of there. Hasta la vista, baby. Goodbye. No matter how bad it will be for the guy, he ain't taking that shit. She has to know. And you have to back this up with your actions if pushed too far. And she fucking knows it. She knows you mean business. All that feminist crap has gone out the door real quick now. This is like when she tried to get you to like agree to her terms when she proposed to you. You had all the leverage. The next week arrives, and I'm sitting in the basement, and I summon her to join. You summoned her? Nice choice of words. She was there in like 10 seconds, and before anything could be said, she straddled me in the chair, wrapping herself around me, and had the biggest, loudest cry I've ever seen in history. For goodness sake. Here we go with the waterworks, the superpower of the tears. And she's back in your lap like a cat. I said nothing and just let her go. My shoulder had tears and snot all over it. It took her 20 to 30 minutes before she was calm enough to say something that I could understand. So she was going all fucking Tuscan Raider on you. And you trying to talk with the all that shit. Sitting on you. God's sakes. Again, the longest 20, 30 minutes of your life. She knew she messed up and did not want to keep being difficult. Well, imagine the power of that contract right there. She handed me the papers back and apologized for turning into a feminist and that it would never happen again. You bet your ass, honey, it won't happen again. I even so much see as a blue streak in your hair. You're out of here. We talked it all out for about an hour and things seemed good. Good. Good for you, man. And I know the wife's listening to this. You got lucky. She explained that she was going through a feminism phase. I'm going to pause this for a second. The feminism phase. Your wife is obviously, from what you've told me about obviously her accounting skills and all these things, a pretty sharp gal. So how did this sharp gal allow this bimbo, this sister-in-law, nurse, I might add, who effed up her own marriage, to get all this shit in her head? You know, to manipulate and all that. I mean, I gotta wonder, there's some stuff that have been built up over a while, where all this crap came from about, you made me be a stay-at-home mom. I gotta say it, you know? I just don't buy this whole thing that gal could easily, whatever the hell her name is, Amber, manipulate her so much to go down this freaking path. You know, I mean, it goes to show you that even the good ones can, yeah. This is why the husband always has to stay strong. Anyhow. Back to her feminism phase. She could not believe that she got so caught up in this, believing that females are oppressed, the pay gap, slaves to their husband, etc., etc. Dude, you've been an amazing husband, but you just don't take any shit. And that's why she's attracted to you, because you're strong, you're a leader, all that. Strong husband, strong father, you're raising your children to be strong, and your sons to be strong, and I believe you said you had a daughter to be a good wife, all that. Towards the end of this ramble, She told me there's a reason why God put men in charge and women as the followers. Following up by saying that she loves the patriarchy and doesn't want to be the boss chick. Well, it sounds a little bit to me that she is saying anything she can to get back in your good graces. But okay. The point is, she knows she messed up. Hence the other 2 videos. We all can mess up. We all fuck up. Don't get me wrong. But still. Her punishment was not over yet. Remembering how my dad handled my mom when she had her big blow-up. Don't tell me you put her in a freaking headlock and body slammed her, dude. And Krav Maga kneed her in the stomach. Be a bit excessive. I felt this would be an appropriate punishment to use. After we finished talking, I knew she wanted to have the makeup sex. We kissed for a few minutes, and I stopped her. I told her it was time for her to get off my lap, and she will still sleep in the guest room for another week. Well, it's kind of like where a guy genuinely and honestly fucks up royally. His girl's good, and he fucks up whatever that may be. And basically, if she immediately went back to hooking up with him, then he hasn't learned anything. So she's, nothing for you for a while, big boy. I denied her all affection for another week. No kissing, hugging, and no sitting on my lap. I don't know if this is a Latina thing or just my wife, but my wife is obsessed with sitting on my lap. She has to be in my lap touching me every day and needs to be picked up. If she is not allowed to do this, it ruins her day. I think your wife was a cat in a past life. My freaking cats always want to be on my freaking lap, and they'll start fighting each other if there's not enough room in my lap. The next week was worse than the first. She desperately wanted to make up and reconnect. Her tremors and anxiety got worse. It was like watching a drug addict going through withdrawal symptoms. She had bags under her eyes. She looked horrible. I did not like seeing this, but I said 1 week. If I say 1 week, it means 1 week. She had to wait all 7 days. My only interactions with her were small talk and our interactions with the kids. Yeah, if you said a week, and you, after 4 days, felt bad for her, all right, come back to the bedroom. Well, that's where you're losing some strength. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say, even if you felt bad, And now your wife's watching, and she's like, aha, he was feeling bad. Ha, ha, ha. Next time, well, there better not be a next time, wife. You got off easy. Your husband is a way better man than me. I would have sent your ass packing. Here's your severance package. Get out. Go join the blue-haired harpy squad. I'm done. I think I said that 2 years ago. But I'm glad you learned the error of your ways and you've been on your best behavior and all that, because you guys had a good thing. Why fuck it up? Anyhow, after a week, she was allowed to join me in the bedroom. She spent all day making herself look good. However, when she got to the bedroom, she looked good, but she could not hide her puffy eyes. Oh shit. We all know what's coming. I knew another cry fest was on the way. She laid on top of me, holding me onto me like her life was in danger. She was unable to get herself under control and fell asleep crying. He's like, Jesus Christ, no more tears. The next couple weeks, the love bombing was intense. Dude, I can only begin to imagine all the things that were given to you in the bedroom. I hope you sent the kids out to their grandparents' house, because probably the whole house was shaking in noises and screams and yells, but in a good way, of course. You would have traumatized your children with the amount of that going on, what she was doing to make up for you. I had to reject her advances a couple times. Over the next couple months, things turned back to normal. Let's just say she never tried that again, or anything close to that. She never wanted that drama in her life again. Now, my wife, I would say, is unique, but she still has female coding at her core and needs some level of drama in her life. Gee, what could you be talking about? Women like drama? Is that what you're saying? They all like drama. Even the coolest ones. Even the most somewhat rational, easygoing, cool. They like drama. She loves to stir the pot. For instance, just the other day, we were in line at Subway. Behind us, there was a green-haired, heavily pierced, overweight female. Oh, she sounds sexy. Now, if you listen to my wife's story, you would know she is full on board with the anti-feminist movement. You go, girl. Not being able to stop herself, she tugs on my arm. I turn to face her, and I see the biggest smile on her face. Gee, what does she have in mind with the freaking fat-ass, tattooed, nose ring, green-haired feminist behind her? And she says to me, Daddy, wouldn't she say Poppy? Daddy, are you going to allow me to eat today? I get to eat, right? She didn't yell, but it was loud enough for people to hear. I noticed she had the attention of a few people, including the green-haired gal. Now, I'm not super witty on my feet, but she has done this before, so I came up with some answers the next time, and she said this. So I responded with, well, you gained some weight recently. You will skip this meal. Her smile faded. I pulled her towards and whispered, do not provoke the feminist. The disgust building up in the green-haired girl was entertaining, but I'd rather just avoid drawing that type of attention to myself. Man, she's something. Well, I don't like drama queens. I don't like people stirring the pot. But if there's ever a time to mess with somebody, it's a feminist. So that's okay. That's pretty funny. I can imagine the anger building up and boiling up into the feminist and her green hair. Her green hair probably started glowing. Hell, she even did it when she was writing to you. When she talked about sitting with me and watching boring Star Trek, TNG, Liz actually likes Star Trek, and we have watched Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. We've seen them all the way through with the kids a few times. I asked her if she likes Star Trek, and she knows that her saying this is going to provoke people. Why do it? All she does is giggle and say, I don't know, not sure why she needs to do that. Maybe you can share some wisdom on it. In other words, I think in the previous story video, she was talking about watching Star Trek with her husband, and I think she was making fun of it, knowing full well this is going to provoke some people, and probably some people in the comments section were provoked or riled up a little bit. Why does she do it? Because she enjoys drama. Women like drama. I don't get it. Guys, we're wired differently. Although some people could say guys like drama because they listen to these stories. Fair point. But at least these stories, you learn some shit. You learn some shit to help equal and balance out the playing field, if you will. But yes, girls like drama, but there's whole levels to this shit. In case you want to know what happened to the sister-in-law, Amber. Aha, I do. It did come out that she was cheating with a doctor at the hospital. Big fucking surprise, a nurse cheating with a doctor. When her divorce was finalized, she tried to get in a relationship with him. Good luck. However, he was not interested in getting serious with a single mom and moved on to a different girl. After this rejection, she did try and make an effort to get back with her original marriage. She was firmly denied. Well, that's awesome. Amber's a piece of something. Liz has fully cut her off under my direction. Good job, Liz. Most members have distanced themselves from her. She doesn't usually go to family events, I assume because of the embarrassment. I do feel sorry for her two kids, though. I really enjoy being uncle to them. However, when I think about it, I just remember Liz has 11 other siblings that have children, so plenty of opportunities to be the uncle. And by the way, obviously he's using code. It's a Latina family. And obviously her name isn't Liz or Amber. He's just using code names here. In case anybody says, that's not a Latina name. Now to the present time, I've actually given the CEO of the company to a good friend of mine. I'm still the biggest shareholder, but no longer do the day-to-day operations. So you've basically retired. I show up to the office about 2 to 3 times a month. I now work part-time at the gun range giving group and private lessons. Since my wife has daddy issues and is a stage 5 clinger, she comes to the range with me. Yeah, I kind of think she has daddy issues. But in a good way for you. She also gives private female lessons. Yes, my wife is very proficient with firearms and even enters and sometimes wins local competitions in the female division. Awesome. If I enter a competition, she will usually enter and compete against me. Yes, it is awesome and that whatever I want to do, she wants to do, but also kind of sucks. One time I told her that me and the boys are going to go to the gun range thinking this is some guy time. Nope, she grabs her gear and gets in the truck thinking that she was invited. I don't know why she is so attached, but I just shrugged. I thought to myself, she's going too. Yep. Based on my parents' relationship and my own, I wanted to share some old man wisdom on what I think makes a good wife. Okay, we're almost done here. What really convinced me that Liz was someone that I could have a family with was that she was amazing at logistical support. Liz took care of everything. She cooked, cleaned, and did the laundry, never complaining about it. Well, that's good. Until 15 years later when she gets in the clutches of some fucking feminist named Amber, and all of a sudden you're oppressing her and keeping her at home, even though that's what she wanted. She made sure that when I got home, all the grocery shopping, cleaning, cooking was done. The only thing she wanted from me was to sit on my lap and to spend time together. I'm telling you, she was a cat in a past life. She made it very easy for me to focus on the business, and I really appreciate that. She followed up doing some of the secretarial duties as well as working part-time from home. Well, look, that was your role, and then you brought home the bacon, and you had this successful company and all that. So that way you can focus all on your business, and she can take care of the house. Great. But at the end of the day, just like my house growing up, my dad was a doctor, and he was off driving in LA traffic before he retired and we moved to Pennsylvania. He didn't have time for all that shit. My mom took care of everything. My mom essentially ran the house and with the kids, but my dad's word was law. And if he said something, that's how it went. But other than that, he left my mom to handle everything. So he could be a doctor and all that. This is obviously after my mom stopped being a nurse. And yes, guys, my mom was a nurse. Don't start with me here. Anyhow, I'm going to get shit about the nurse thing. I'm waiting for it. We ring nurse SSM's mom's a nurse. Ha 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 ha. All fucking night. She dressed modestly. She did not use a ton of makeup and did not have very tight clothing or show cleavage. She has no tattoos and only has her ears pierced. I think it's ugly when girls have tattoos or have piercings in their eyebrows and lips. I agree with you. She went to the gym often, and now we work out at home together. She takes very good care of herself. That's great. Both of you should take care of yourself. Now, obviously, as you get older, you can't do things like you used to, but just you do what you can. Keep yourself challenged. But I will say this, sir, obviously you're older than me. Make sure you do lots of stretching and keep up with your cardio. And I think the days of your maximum bench press and squat are long over with. I wouldn't do any. At your age, I'm assuming you're in your late 50s, I forget. I wouldn't do any repetitions of weight, anything lower than 8 repetitions at this point if you're in your 50s. A lot of people, when they get to their 50s or definitely 60s, start using more machines. Just be careful. But keep exercising and you're going to be fine. But yeah, it sucks getting older. You can't do things like the old days and you got to be more careful. One injury can fuck everything up for a long time. My wife never tried to get extra money or try to get control of the business. She didn't appear to be a gold digger. Now, if we are honest with each other, no woman will be happy with the bare minimum. Never have, never will. However, she was more than happy not driving a $100,000 vehicle and okay driving medium-priced SUVs with the kids. Well, good. Absolutely. She never tried to stop me from my hobbies. If anything, she wants to learn about them and participate in them, like going to the gun range. I am also an amateur astronomer. I'm very interested in observing the night sky and learning as much as I can. Well, that's cool. I wanted to do it solo, but nope, she invited herself and started doing it with me. Let me guess, was she sitting on your lap when you were looking through the freaking telescope? As much as I prefer to do it solo, I would much rather that she joins me than tries to stop me. Also, her ability to connect with me. As you can tell, she is very sexual and needs it just about on a daily basis. Oh, poor you. It is a very spiritual thing for her. In her mind, her life revolves around me and the kids. She does everything possible to get her chores done before I have free time so she can just be with me. I'm not saying she's a dog or anything, but her commitment is at that level. Well, she's more of a cat. And last, she enjoys following directions. When I tell Liz what to do, she doesn't see it as me bossing her around. She sees it that we are a team working together, with me as the boss and her as the follower. Oh, that would infuriate so many women. Like when we go out, I'll just text her and say, hey, I'll be picking up at 6 and I want you in the black dress. When I pick her up at 6, she's in the black dress. She's excited to be going out and we have a great time. Awesome. I just hope in 15 more years she doesn't go through another fucking, what'd she call it, the feminism phase or something like that? She better not. Anyway, bro, I think this is a good place to wrap things up. I'm glad to hear that you're also getting into firearms. I don't know how far into the rabbit hole you are, but some recommendations I got are for pistols. I really like the Walther PPQ-45, and for semi-auto rifles, I like the AK-102. Well, about a month ago, I shot an AR-15 for the first time. My buddy took me. My friend here from Florida took me to the rifle range. Holy shit, it's like a fucking cannon. God damn, that thing was powerful. Man. Enjoy Florida and all the Latina women there. No shortage of them down here. And maybe you can confirm if the lap sitting always need to be picked up and a stage 5 clanger is a Latina thing or just my wife. Peace. Mike. No, it is not just your wife, the stage 5 clanger thing, and I'm not going to get started on that. Well, man, that was great. It was really good to hear from you. And I know you obviously were caught by surprise when she aired your business on the 2 videos on YouTube. I'm glad you were cool about it and enjoyed it and become a follower of the channel. And this story definitely, her story that she sent in, which was very good. I enjoyed covering those, and I'm glad that she learned the error of her ways and all that. They were really good, and a lot of guys benefited from that, both in terms of entertainment, also learning some things. And I like hearing your background story here, and it's cool about your dad, the Marine. Aside from that one night with the fucking headlocks and body slams and that shit, we'll just forget that part, God's sakes. Yeah, your dad, hell of a guy. And those Marines, they don't fuck around. And as my dad never fucked around. I'll never forget my dad smacked my sister when she pissed him off. I can call her right now and bring it up. Hey, remember when dad slapped you? Yes. Yep. But my dad was a great guy. May he rest in peace. But anyhow, sir, great story. I'm glad you're doing well. And hopefully in 15 more years, there'll be no more you having to pull out the packet again with the severance package. But I think you're going to be okay. So I wish you best to both of you and your family and all that. And seriously, take care. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And you got a great story to share, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's good, I'll cover it. Have a sure like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.